Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark Beachoff Hoffmeyer.
I'm just Jay, and that's enough. I'm okay at doing so.
Hey, what's your job, Jay? What's your job?
My job is podcast today, I guess. My job is podcast. My job is deep. My job is blue. And today welcome to a new year, listeners. This is the first episode of 2024 of the Deep Blue Sea podcast. Normally we talk about a scene from Deep Blue Sea or a Deep Blue Sea adjacent film. But this is the time of year where everyone does like their wrap-up posts, their best films of 2023 kind of thing. So we thought we're not going to do that. Instead, we're just going to highlight some of our favourite Deep Blue scenes of 2023. So some of our scenes that are in some way similar to a Deep Blue Sea moment, or just are aquatic or on a beach, anything like that. That's what we're going to talk about today. Nice little wrap-up for the year.
It's been a crazy year for beaches.
It has.
So I was thinking about the creator. Barbie, Little Mermaid, Retirement Plan, Elemental, Dial of Destiny, The Marvels, Creed 3, Fast X, Dungeons and Dragons, Honored Among Thieves, Murder Mystery 2, Ghosted, Heart of Stone, Meg 2, The Trench, American Fiction has a great beach scene, funeral scene, A Fire is all next to a beach, Robot Dreams has lovely swimming and beach scenes, Fist of the Condor, Vacation Friends 2, La Chimera, like it's Napoleon. He's on a cliff next to like water. There's some beachy stuff right there. There's a lot of beaches in 2020. Shotgun Wedding,
Sure.
Like Black Demon, not really, but I mean, there's a lot of beaches in this year. It's been a beach heavy year.
It has indeed been a beach heavy year. So any standout? I haven't seen all of those films you just listed. We had a brief back and forth, so I've gone and checked out some of the scenes that you've highlighted. Any standout beach scenes for you this year?
Okay, so I have 3 in my list that I was going to talk about. But okay. I think my favorite beach scene is from Fist of the Condor, my favorite movie of 2023. Marco Zarrar is in it. So, like, there's a beach fight, and it's just stylized. It's shot beautifully, like 1:8:5 to 1 aspect ratio, like retro-looking movie. I was reading reviews for this, and they said it's an action film for art house crowds. And I think that's why it's my favorite film of the year. It's like, I love Unbreakable. It's a superhero movie for art house crowds. Like, I think that's what I lean towards. But like the director, Ernesto Diaz-Espinosa, Marco Zarrar, like just the opening scene, he's talking, like it's such a good exposition dump because the main character is just talking about how, he's he's in this fight, but he's also talking about like his personal fitness, and he's talking like my body's working like a clock. I've calibrated myself. I'm becoming an experiment. Like if I eat less, I lose voltage. If I eat more, I get slow. And then we learn he has photophobia in it. And like there's some really amazing wide shots. And it's just a really cool old school like 1970s beach fight. And it's wonderful. It's like Zarrar, I've been a big fan of his for a long time. And I think just the way it's shot, the way it works, like the fight, like they throw 10 blows before cutting. It's just an awesome beach fight. So yeah, that's my number 1 beach scene of 2023.
Cool. Yeah, I've not seen that yet. There's not streaming anywhere here yet, but I looked at the trailer and there's like little glimpses of the beach fighting in the trailer, and it does look quite cool, and the whole film looks quite cool. So I look forward to checking it out sometime.
It's like 80 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just such a cool, like, it's just such a good fun. And then I would say second place is from No Hard Feelings, sure. The naked beach fight, because like I was researching it, and I just love that Jennifer Lawrence was like, this sounds awesome, let's do it. And her whole team was like, no, don't do this. And she's like, no way, this is awesome. And it just features like fun sand and face, a couple epic low blows. It's just like she's so confident in it that it's wildly exploitative, but also she owns it so much that it just feels like, oh yeah, that's a scene from a movie. Like it makes sense.
I mean, you say it's exploitative. It's not in a Saffron Burrows Deep Blue Sea kind of way.
Exactly.
It's not like a sexy scene.
No,
it's not. The camera's not like, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
It's like this is what happens, and this is she happens to be naked.
You know what? That's a great point, because it could have been any beach fight ever. It was skinny dipping, and these idiots stole her clothes, and she goes and beats him up. But you're right. It's far less exploitative or gratuitous than Deep Blue Sea's Saffron Burrow scene, or anything with Dr. Misty Calhoun.
Sure.
In Deep Blue Sea too. But no, it's just, I just love that everyone told her not to do it, and she's like, "No, this is awesome." Like she had no second thoughts about it, so I had to do
whenever
that.
I talk to anyone about this film, that's the scene that they always mention, like the beach scene. But they always assume that's not Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, you know,
Like,
yeah,
as like a stunt double with a face replacement. But I'm like pretty sure it's her.
yeah. She just went for it, and you know what's crazy? It has so many cringe moments in it. No hard feelings. Like the funniest moment in it is when she meets Matthew Broderick, and he's like, "Yeah, my name is Layered," and she's like, "Oh, like the dip." And he goes, "No, like not like the 7-layer dip. Like,
Yeah, like Laird,
no,
it's the name.
yeah, that's the funniest line." And then when he's on the car, and yeah, so I've been working on this R-rated rom-com thing, and I had to go through it and pull all the tropes from it. But yeah, and then third place beach fight, Jay, is like I'll give an honorable mention to Retirement Plan because it's Nick Cage versus Ron Perlman, but it's next to a beach, not on a beach. But I'll do the Ken beach fight with the paddle boats and the fragility and the for lack of a better term, titty twisters and sticky arrows and guitar rock and.
Or just like where him and Gosling and Simu just both like open their vests and just the sheer force of their presence of their abs repelling people away.
Yeah. And there's headlocks and noogies and it's just like I love that like Simu uses a polo stick to kill somebody, and it's just lacrosse stick. I mean,
yeah, lacrosse, yeah,
and it's just. So yeah, there's been a lot of beach fights.
Yeah, so I love the Barbie one, the Ken fight, just because it's forced slow motion. They're all just pretending. It's just a pretend fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's the episode from Spaced where they were just like pretend fighting, but on a massive scale.
There's no one gets really hurt. Like it's sticky arrows, and you might catch a frisbee to the head, which would hurt.
Sure.
But I mean, you're also just I don't know if they feel pain.
I mean, one of the guys from the real world, Jamie Demetriou, does get shot later.
Yeah, he does. It's like I thought they didn't have guns here. They don't.
No, they don't.
Yeah, so I mean, I unleashed a ton of my awards right there, but I don't know. It's just a good year for beach fights, Jay. But Fist of the Condor is my favorite, and then No Hard Feelings, and then. But I mean, it's like comparing three awesome things against each other. That doesn't make them worse. It just makes them a tiny bit less awesome than Fist of the Condor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any other beach fights because as always, you see far more films than I do, which is fine. But like, if Fist of the Condor is your favorite scene of the year, then I may have seen. We're recording this a few days into 2023, so I've not seen every film I want to see yet. But my number one film of the year is probably going to be one I saw last night. It's probably going to be Wonka. Which I loved Wonka. I'm a big Paul King fan. Loved Paddington 2 is glorious. Paddington was also glorious. So Wonka had a lot going against it. It's a Willy Wonka prequel. It's a musical and it stars Timothée Chalamet. That's three things that I'm already like. But I loved every second of this film. I think I've said before that if Chalamet is the perfect lead man of your film, you probably should make that film. But I take that back. Just because like I don't like him in Dune. He's really like whiny and insipid and kind of pathetic. But in Wonka, he's a psychopath. But he's like a fun one, and I like that. He's kind of channeling that right insane gleam behind the eyes, and I think that's where he fits best.
And I think Scott Mendelsohn had a great point when he talked about this movie, and so did Aaron Neuwirth, where they said that like this isn't really an origin story because he already knows how to make chocolates. He's already been on adventures. He's just looking to start a shop, but this isn't about him learning how to make chocolates. He's already quite a fully realized character.
Yeah,
in this.
He's been at sea for 7 years. He's got a whole suitcase full of gear. But there's a scene towards the end which is very deep boozy, where I guess mild spoilers for Wonka, but like he and another character get trapped in a room that gets filled with liquid chocolate to drown them, and it's very much like the end of Deep Blue Sea when you got the three characters stood in a circle praying and the room fills up with water and they get out the top. Like, I was watching thinking, my God, we're talking about Deep Blue Scenes tomorrow. This is perfect. This is number one on my list now.
Oh man, and those monks, and also the drunk chocolate was probably the fun. Like, oh, he has a nice Chardonnay. Oh, the whiskeys kick in. He's gonna get emotional now, and he calls up his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
that guy's always the worst guard in those movies, isn't he?
Simon Farnaby, who co-wrote
Hmm.
Wonka, and he's always great. He never plays a nice guy. He always just plays someone who's terrible at their job or is a terrible person, and he's really good at it.
His coffee drinking in Paddington 2 is all-time coffee drinking for me.
Sure.
He's hilarious in that movie. But no, so Wonka, I was like, why does this exist? But I mean, it's Paul King though, so I mean, the guy, like, if Rennie Harlan made a movie, you'd be like, oh, it's Rennie Harlan, we trust him. So like, I feel like we should trust this guy by now,
Yeah.
making these movies. And I wasn't too hyped on Wonka watching it, but they sent a screener, so I'm like, all right, well, I should watch it. Like, I don't have to go to the theater, so my wife and I put it on. We're like, this is fun, this is good, I enjoy this. Again,
Yeah.
and Hugh Grant and just the little orange man and just yeah, no, it's fun. It's
I feel like he's got his blank check now. This could even has been a blank check film where he can just make whatever he wants for a little while now.
Wait, is he the director was this his blank check movie?
That's my guess. I mean,
and he succeeded. And he made a great blank check movie.
Yeah, yeah.
That doesn't happen much.
Paddington 2 must have made a lot of money because it's perfect. Paddington 2 made, on a $40 million budget, it made $228 million. That's enough for a studio to go, okay, great, do what you want. And then Wonka cost $125 million, and it's so far made $272.
Yeah, it'll clear 350, maybe 4, because it's good. That's
cool.
great. So Chazelle had Babylon, that didn't do too well. Aster had Beau is Afraid, which is a wonderful visual vision. Yeah, there's a lot to that movie, and he wants water in a scene. Water is a very important part of Beau is Afraid.
Okay, I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, he has to leave his apartment to get water, then everyone goes into his apartment. But yeah, I mean, water is very important, and he's on a boat. Like Good Things, boats are big this year. But yeah, it's
the boat in Wonka.
Poor Things. There's a good boat scene. Yeah, and Wonka, good boat scenes this year, Jay.
Yeah,
but but I feel like M. Night Shyamalan had The Happening. I feel like, that one guy made that Noah's Ark movie. So this might be one of the most successful blank check movies
I think
ever.
So. I mean, every film James Cameron makes is basically a blank check film, and he keeps on clearing it each time. But yeah.
He's a different species, though. He's like rarefied air.
He writes his own blank check. It's James Cameron.
Like Noah Baumbach had White Noise. That was $140 million. That didn't light the world. Like Scorsese had Silence, and those were fine.
Kundun could be like an early Scorsese blank check film as well.
Yeah. Wow.
Just listing off the Scorsese films I haven't seen.
So this is good job, King. You're the king. You're the king of blank check movies.
But I think the best boat scene for me this year is probably Godzilla Minus One.
Oh yeah, it's the best chase scene of any movie.
Phenomenal. I saw this a few days ago. I didn't go release it that long ago, and it's incredible. Just like this behemoth, it's like it's Godzilla prequel basically, like where he's chasing down the ship that's there to decommission mines. One of the ships gets taken out, and then it's just him and this little ship, and he's chasing it, and it's so tense, and they're trying to shoot a mine in its mouth. And it's a great scene. I love that film. Excellent.
Oh, that's very Jaws-esque with that mine in its mouth. And also they sink it to the bottom of the ocean, and then
they rise it back up.
Bring it back up
They're
to the
playing
back.
with pressure. Yeah.
I mean, there's so much water in there, but I would say the best chase scene of 2023 is definitely in Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think the best, like, ordinary water scene is probably in Perfect Days, like another one of my favorite 2023 films. It was originally supposed to be a documentary about all these amazing bathrooms that were built in Tokyo by architects from all over the world. But then Wim Wenders ended up making it into a feature-length film, and it's just lovely. It's released by Neon, beautiful movie, but there's a lot of toilet work, there's a lot of sink work. What's that little jet that bidet? There's a lot of bidet testing. He tests out all the bidets. It's like, I think the best bathroom water moments go to Perfect Days.
I haven't seen it yet, but I would argue Saltburn as a contender for bathroom water scenes.
You gave that 4.5 stars.
I really liked Saltburn. Since like seeing it and rating it, I've heard other people mentioning it in passing on podcasts as it being a really bad film. Or like a film that they enjoyed for the first hour, and then every minute that went by after that, they've hated it more and more and more. And I was just along for the ride. Like,
Yeah,
Jacob Elordi pleasuring himself in the bath, and then Barry Keoghan drinking the water out of the plugger is something I didn't expect to see in a film this year, and I did.
we give a lot of props to Rennie Harlan for making scenes that we've never seen before, like LL Cool J and Mindhunters, right? And just scaling the wall and underwater gunfights and just Rennie has figured out a way to create action scenes we've never seen before. But when Emerald Fennell, what she does is when he starts drinking that water out of the bathtub, I'm like, this is a really, I'm not going to forget this.
Yeah, I didn't want to see this, but this is now in my head.
I mean, it's a very good visual. And I would say it's the best part of the movie, like the best shot of the movie before all the usual suspects type Kaiser Soze stuff. But and then like also too, like the naked dancing, like this is Barry going for it. Like he owned that scene.
Yeah, ending with Sophie Ellis-Bextor, Murder on the Dance Floor. Like that really sets what time period this film is in. It's a I don't know how big that song was in America, but in England it was huge. So,
oh, was it?
Yeah, and the film was set in England. It's an English film. So that was a massive song from the 2000s.
The soundtrack had some bangers on it, and I've been reading reviews. Like Charlie XCX wrote about it, and other people who grew up around the area. I think it hit them a lot harder than it would hit, say, me, who was in Tallahassee, Florida, or like Georgia at the time. But yeah, I don't know, but I still like that she went for it. And I mean, anytime Barry's on screen,
yeah, I'm happy he's doing well, and he's good at playing the underdog. But in this one, he gets to kind of play because like in Banshees of Inisherin, he's so
oh yeah,
Banshees.
yeah.
I was so happy he got a nomination for that. But he's getting to play a range. Like he did that. He did Banshees. He did this, and he's been the Joker for a very short amount of time.
I was a little bit worried after Killing of a Sacred Deer. I'm like, ooh, I hope this isn't just him all the time now. Sure. But then after I watched Saltburn, I'm like, oh, okay, he's cool. Like he'll be fine.
Yeah, this
guy's got range. But yeah, that's a memorable scene, Jay. That's some good pond work in that as well.
Yeah. In the little lake they've got here.
I'm going to interrupt our awards, Jay. You're going to a desert island.
Okay.
You're gonna live there for 6 months. Fully stocked everything. You got nice Perrier. You got your amaretto and Pepsi Max. Like you have power. You have a decent place. You're not like when they pick you up at the end of the 6 months, like we talk about on Movies, Films, and Flicks, Nick Rehack and I. You look the same. Like people expect you to have a beard and look like Patrick Wilson from Aquaman, or I guess Tom Hanks from Castaway. But you just look like you.
I might try and lose a little bit of weight, but okay, sure.
Well, yeah, you know what? You look like a better you. Everyone's like, okay. You have a nice shirt on. Like, where'd you get that shirt? Like,
there's a tailor on the other side of the island.
It's like yellow and really nice, and like the fabric's great, and you have a hat on that just like you're wearing it. It's not wearing you. Okay, it's just sure. You're just living the dream. But what 5 2023 movies would you take with you? Those are only 5 things you can watch the entire 6 months you're there.
Okay.
What? And your whole family gets to come with you too. Like I'm not cruel. It's like everyone gets to come. You get to remotely
work. Family
or
just the ones I want to bring.
The ones you want to bring. You can bring people you want. You don't have to work. You can work. You can do whatever you want. I'm not trying to separate families here. Okay. But what 5 movies?
I just looked up the ones I've seen this year. So I'm gonna have Wonka just because that's
a good pick.
That's me bringing some music with me as well, basically. Across the Spider-Verse. I feel like I could watch that again and again and again and pick up more and more stuff each time. So that's going to be in there. This was technically a 2023 film for me. So Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Oh, that's so nice.
I adored that film. I was surprised as to how emotional it was attached to this little shell with little shoes on by the end of this film. So that's going to be in there.
All right, so you have Marcel, Wonka,
and Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay. Oh, those are fun.
Yeah. Part of me is tempted to say Babylon.
I'm not. I mean, there's a lot there.
Yeah, because it's a long film. There's a lot there, and I did fall asleep during it, so I would go back on to rewatching it again.
Yeah, get to finish it.
Yeah, so screw it. And it's interesting. It's interesting stuff in there. So let's have Babylon. And then fifth film. What is there a film I didn't understand?
Babylon, Wonka.
Fifth film. Like Cocaine Bear. That should have been so much better than it was. I'm gonna say let's go with Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Solid. Just because there's a lot of action. There's a nice variety of genres there instead. So I got some action going on. Let's have that one. Which has a great opening submarine scene. Which we could.
Oh yeah, one of your awards.
Yeah.
What I had to do a data article on the Fast movies, and I just love how they lean so heavy on all the MacGuffins. Like in this one, they're talking about the keys so much and the entity, and then there's like Chimera in the second one, and the knock list in the first one, and where's the codes? I need the launch codes. Where are the codes? Fallout is the plutonium. They say plutonium 37 times.
I believe it.
But Dead Reckoning's, it's an odd one because I don't know why they made some of the decisions they do, but I still like it's very watchable and it's 3 hours.
Yeah, it's the action scenes are great as you'd expect. The plot maybe it takes a little bit of a wander. They're padding the plot a little bit to make it a two-parter that's no longer a two-parter. Perhaps. But I love Haley Atwell. I mean, I love everyone in it. So
yeah. Well, there's a moment when it's Vanessa Kirby, Rebecca Ferguson, Haley Atwell, and Palm Clementif in just a club. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, these 4 are great. Like, who cares about Tom Cruise? I'm like, but give me this is a collection of all actors I like. So that's a good scene. And it's a good sub work. It's probably, and there's good flashing lights. Our buddy Jim O'Kane would love the flashing lights in there.
He would.
You know how much I love people staring at screens.
We have the return of Henry Cerny.
Yeah.
For briefly.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna pick my 5, Jay.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm tempted to say The Pope's Exorcist just so I can watch Russell Crowe on a scooter.
Sure, he does go a long way on that scooter.
But I won't do that. So okay, I need to bring comedies because I don't want it to be like too serious when I'm out there. Oh man, Dream Scenario is like one of the funniest moments of the year, but I don't think I want to watch that over and over and over.
Sure. Okay. Just for I picked 2 like part 1 films that don't have a proper ending. So I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna be so frustrated for 6 months. Okay,
I'm gonna take Bottoms because that movie's just insane and it's very funny.
I want to see it. I want to see it. I missed it.
I'm gonna take Bottoms. I'll take Flora and Son so I can maybe teach myself guitar when I'm out there just watching them. I don't think it works like that though, Jay. So who knows? Asteroid City. I'm absolutely gonna take because that's a movie I adore immensely. Polite Society. You know what? I'll take Plane just because you need a good action movie out there. That's one of my 10 favorite of the year.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Okay. So then, I mean, they clone Tyrone's really good. Fremont's good. Killer's kind of is chill to watch. Fallen Leaves is good. Poor Things. That's too much. Guardians 3 is good, but it's too heavy. Ferrari's very watchable. Showing. You know what? This might be a dumb pick, but I'm going to take Showing Up with Michelle Williams because it's about artists and creating art and it's super chill. So I'm going to take Bottoms, Flora and Son, Asteroid City, Plane, and Showing Up.
Sure. I've not even heard of Showing Up. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, you know what? That's a weird pick, but I'm going to do that. I'm not taking the Meg 2, Jay. Is that bad?
I mean, I didn't take it either. It's it's one of the films we covered this year, so like, I'm not highlighting the films that like we did Meg 2, Dangerous Waters, Black Demon, Shotgun Wedding. These are all 2023 films that we covered this year. I saw Aquaman, the second Aquaman the other day. I don't think we'll ever do an episode on it. I didn't like it.
It's just it's just a buddy comedy. Like it's
with not enough comedy.
I just like Patrick Wilson.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talks about buttholes in it though. Momoa goes butthole crazy. In that and Fast 10 this year, he did a lot of butt talk.
Yeah,
but you know what?
That's near the bottom of my list for the year.
It's under. So I remember I went to go see it at 7:00 at a press screening, and I'm so used to the movies being long. So when I was walking out of the theater, I looked at my phone to call Megan and tell her I was coming home. It was before 9, and I was like, "This is amazing." Now that's not the marker of a movie's quality, but you know me, man. I'm a big PW fan. I'm a big Patty Will fan. St. Pete. I like sea monsters. I like zombies. I like zombies and sea monsters attacking people. I like Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren rides a seahorse. Nicole Kidman rides a rocket shark.
There's an octopus riding a seahorse. Why?
Oh, yes. Oh, man. And there's a couple little fun set pieces. You know what, though? I guess I'm just a James Wanner, too. I like the throwback aspect of it, and I like P-Dub getting a big role. So I think that's why. But, yeah, it's not coming with me. And neither is the Meg 2. But I did pick the jet ski scene.
You did.
And, I learned about this. They just put a camera on the jet ski and had Statham go ride around with it. So a lot of the footage you see is just him cruising around looking serious in character. And then they edit it together. And then they put him on this giant rotisserie. That's what Ben Wheatley calls it. And they were just spinning him around on the jet ski, upside down and over, and filming that scene where he flips up in the air. But Ben Wheatley's like, yeah, we put him on like a big rotisserie, which makes me really happy. But I mean, listen, I love that a shark comes from underneath him, explodes out of the water, creates a gigantic wave in which Statham rides, and he uses that wave to spear another shark and blow it up. Like, Paul Giamatti couldn't pull that off. Leo couldn't pull that off. Like, no actor from this year could be as believable as him in that scene. So
I mean, they wouldn't even try.
No.
No. That's the Statham move. And we liked the film. We enjoyed the Meg 2, Meg to the Trench. But yeah, it's not winning a lot of awards.
No, I don't even think about it that much. Like, I think about Plane all the time.
You do. But
I don't.
In my current ranking, Plane is above Meg 2.
Hey.
So there we go.
But that's not good though. That was very diplomatic, Jay. I like it.
Well, I mean, it's not right above it. There's a few, and they are both above Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh wow.
Which has a diving eel scene. No sharks, but they dive down for a while, and there's a skeleton full of eels.
It's fun.
It's fun, yeah. It's my second favorite film this year that turned out to have time travel that I didn't realize had time travel when I sat down to watch it. The number one being Totally Killer. Loved Totally Killer.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea what the premise of that was other than it's a slasher film, and I was watching it and like, this is the time travel film. I love this.
They used Danced Against Us. Remember that? I love that line. They used Dance Against Us. That movie starts off a little rough, but I love Kieran Shipka, and then it just gets better and better and better, and then by the end of it, you just love it.
I absolutely did.
Well,
this is just another slasher film, but no, it's great. It's fantastic.
So I have an award for Plane, Jay, and it's just water drinking. So there's a scene where Jerry Butler has a big fight scene, and Coulter comes and saves him, but then Gerard Butler stops and just drinks water. Because he's like, man, I'm thirsty. And I went, I have never seen that in an action movie before.
Gotta rehydrate.
When have you seen an action movie like, stop, I need water?
I can't think of one.
And the simplicity of Plane, right? Plane goes up, plane goes down. Plane goes up, plane goes down.
Yep.
And it's so easy and straightforward and fun. And Mike Coulter's cool. And Gerard Butler is cool. Like, Gerard Butler, I think if he had a bigger ego, he would have taken a bigger role. But Coulter's the action star in this movie, not him. I love the team that comes in. Yeah. I even like the steward, like the people who worked on the plane. They were all there's a couple like jerks. But for the most part, the people who worked for him on the plane were pretty cool.
It's a very solid. I have no problems with Plane at all. I enjoyed it a lot. It's exactly what you need it to be.
Yeah,
and it does it well.
I think that's why I award it.
Yeah, if you want a solid action film, you will not have a problem watching Plane. It's great.
But that's why I give it props, because I think too many movies are like, I'm gonna skip just being meat and potatoes, and I'm gonna add some like brown sugar and gravy and strawberries to the meat and potatoes. And it's like, no, just meat and potatoes is fine.
Just do the best meat and potatoes you can do.
Yeah,
meat and potatoes.
Just meat and potatoes. That's it. So yeah, that's real quick. I want to say the best swimming pool of 2023 is in the Zone of Interest.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there for anybody wondering about what the best swimming pool is. Zone of Interest.
Okay, well, another film that you picked out that I haven't seen yet is Sisu. But I went and watched that scene. It's streaming here in 2 days, which is frustrating. And Polite Society is streaming here tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
One of Obama's top 10.
So I'm looking forward to watching it. But the Sisu scene I watched with no context. I barely know what that film was about at all. So I just watched this underwater scene on YouTube, and it starts off with a guy setting himself on fire.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And then jumping into a lake, and then there's, like, I'm assuming Nazi soldiers trying to catch him.
Yep, Nazis in Finland.
So one of them dives into the water and they has a little underwater scuffle, and this guy cuts this guy's throat and sucks the air out of his windpipe. And I cannot wait to see the rest of this film.
Sisu's another one of my top 10. And, the director Jamari Helander, he also did Rare Exports, a movie that I love
Hell yeah.
a lot. And Jorma Tomiya as Corpy, the star of this. Like, when I love when he jumps in the water, the wide shot of him under the water, like the Nazi soldier and him, just the beautiful wide shots. And then he's like, so when this guy wrote this movie, he was like, what have people never seen? So while watching Sisu, you're going, I've never seen that before. That's new. That's new also. And so, yeah, when he slits that soldier's throat, and then he slits another soldier's throat, and then the third soldier's like, and then he just gets shot. But it's like the director said he was laughing a lot when he wrote the scene. Like, I had a great time writing this. And I love the tank work. It's just so audacious and violent and funny. And I love it. I love it a lot.
I mean, yeah. If the rest of the film is anything like this scene, it's going to be high on my list.
Real quick though, I want to say if we were talking about documentaries in this list, The Deepest Breath would get an award.
Okay, sure.
And The Mission, but The Mission is like very bleak. But The Mission's it's on Disney Plus. If you want to really get inside the head of the guy who went to that really distant island, the missionary, and killed, like, it's a really neat exploration into what got him there and the mindset and the people around him. And it's a really cool documentary with many different voices in it. So if you're looking to watch a nice waterlogged movie in which someone gets hit by arrows and it's quite tragic and sad, The Mission is a good one.
Nice. I'll have to look into that one. Good.
And also, The River Wild.
The remake?
Good. Yeah.
It's not made it to the UK.
They could have more time on the river, but I think that's expensive, so it can't be like the Meryl Streep movie. Like, I think shooting on water is quite expensive, but the cast is good. There's more hiking than I wanted, but there's cool overhead shots. Whitewater rafting is one of my favorite things on the planet. For a while I considered, so I wanted to travel the world, and I ended up teaching and going over to Korea and doing it that way. But I was thinking about becoming a whitewater rafting guide so I could go to South Africa and New Zealand and work as a guide.
Sure.
So I almost got my certification in North Carolina as a whitewater rafter so I could travel the world and do whitewater rafting. But I ended up teaching instead. But I love whitewater rafting, and there's a lot of water in this, Jay, so it's cool.
Well, I haven't seen the original either, but I picked up on DVD recently, and it's on the schedule to be covered soon in 2024.
Who are you talking about it with?
Robert Zerby has been dying to talk about it since we started this podcast, pretty much. We haven't set a date yet, so if you're free to join us, we'd love to have you.
I mean, it's like Meryl Streep. I remember watching her in that '94,
nuts.
And but like the amount of work that she put into it, and the amount of stunts that are like just watching Meryl Streep in it. Like, if you ever wonder if you think she's not a good actor, that's very interesting. But in this one, her
films,
I guess I just wasn't used to the physicality of Meryl Streep, and so seeing her physicality in River Wild. It is very ahead of its time because Strathairn isn't like the alpha in the relationship, like it's a very interesting movie. And your guy Joseph Mazzello from Jurassic Park is in it.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, you'll be. Yeah, I'm building up a future episode for you.
Nice.
But
I'm looking forward to it.
There's been a lot of water scenes this year, Jay. Like even Evil Dead Rise had a blood elevator.
Okay.
And like Infinity Pool, there's a ton of that. And then Loki. Jay. Owen Wilson says this. They say the personal watercraft is kind of the thinking man's dirt bike.
Sure.
I think that's pretty incredible.
I'm assuming you liked the second season of Loki, where we see some more of Mobius.
Yeah,
Mobius.
On a jet ski.
Morbius is different. Mobius's backstory of the jet ski. Yeah,
it's Morbin time.
It's Mobin time. So there's a film we just covered on the show, Little Mermaid. There's a shark attack scene in there. Which it's fine. It's a fine. They do the Jurassic Park bit with the mirror and confuse the shark and he goes into the mirror. So that's always fun, but it's not in the film a lot. So
It's a good looking CGI shark though.
yeah, it doesn't talk. Shark doesn't talk.
No.
Sharks should talk.
Yeah, if everything else does. And then I like that it flanks her. I like that she bops it on the head with a barrel.
Yeah, to get away from Flounder. Yeah, he's just burying into the sand. I hate Flounder in that one.
Flounder goes chump change in that scene.
I mean, that's him throughout the whole film. That's just him as a character.
Flounder.
And he looks like a nightmare.
And this...
but I liked the underwater scene in Elemental. Did you get around to Elemental?
Man,
I mean, the film's premise is up there with Inside Out in terms of they didn't really think this through that much to me, but the scene is beautiful with the going to the flower underwater and the water guy making the bubble for the fire lady.
She gets to see the flower that she went to go see with her father, but she wasn't allowed because they could have caught the museum on fire. So he takes her to see it underwater.
And of course, there's a finite amount of air in the bubble, and it gets smaller and smaller, and she almost dies. But it's all fine because it's a Pixar film. Of course, it's fine.
But you know what? I know why this movie now was a cult. Not a cult. It was not a sleeper. It just had legs. Like this movie had legs because I remember watching and get drawn into it. And I also like Leah Lewis a lot. I like her really raspy voice. She's in a show that Megan likes called, I don't know, it's Nancy Drew, but she's also in a movie I love called The Half of It. And she's really good in The Half of It. So I'm happy to see her get like cool Pixar voice work because I like her a lot. And so I think her voice work in it's really strong.
And she's in Station 19 with Dr. Misty Calhoun. Hey.
But no, I enjoyed it. I don't know why I didn't watch it. I guess I was like, I'll just catch it at home because the last few Pixar movies I've caught at home. But I'm glad it did well.
I didn't think it did. I hadn't looked into it, but I'd heard that it's Wish that's done terribly, isn't it? It's Wish that's really.
Oh yeah.
But
no, it ended up pulling almost 500 million in.
Yep, you're right. Yeah, I see.
And it just had legs though. It just people kept going back to watch it, and people kept being like, "Hey, this is good." Whereas like Rudy Gilman, Teenage Kraken only made 46.2 million. That's another water heavy movie.
Yeah, that's one we will eventually cover once I've seen it. But I've been looking out for. I put that in my top 10 for the summer movie gamble for Out Now with Aaron Abe. I put Ruby Gilman in there, and it didn't make any money at all, which is something I'm used to. I put Ugly Dolls in there one year when it made $20 million. Man,
that's woofda.
I'm not good at. I came second once in that summer movie gamble, and never again.
I'll never win it.
We don't enter to win. We're happy to be asked to play, I guess.
That's why I'm terrible at poker, Jay. Like I'm good for 20 minutes, but then when everyone starts taking it way too seriously, I'm like, guys, I'm in for $20. Like I don't want to sit here and not talk for 8 hours. Like that just.
Poker. I'm good at poker when there's more than two people playing. When it gets down to me and one other person, I'm out. I'm done. I can't. I suck at that 1-to-1. But I'm really good at coming second in poker. But poker's not about coming second.
I start looking at ceiling fans. I start looking at other people. I'm like, just get me out of here.
Yeah.
So wait, you only have one major award left, and then I have a bunch of random mentions for the world.
Is that the Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I'm taking Dungeons and Dragons as my 5 movies.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get rid of. Plane.
Oh, that's big talk for you, Mark. Plane's in your top 10. Dungeons and Dragons isn't.
But the problem with Plane, it's just your plane's crashing. You're stuck on an island. There's a lot of violence. People are getting murdered. And it's quite serious, and you're sort of just living in death. So on this island, I would happily watch Plane now in the comfort of my home, but on an island, I'd rather laugh with Dungeons and Dragons and watch potato weapons and birds flying. Hugh Grant.
There's more in Dungeons and Dragons that you can watch it like once a week for 6 months, whereas Plane, you probably would get more bored of it, I guess.
Yeah, because it's just Plane.
Yeah, the simplicity of Plane is its downfall in that scenario.
I picked 5 cool movies. Wait, so you have Babylon, Wonka, Marcel, Dead Reckoning, and what else? I already forgot.
Across the Spider-Verse, did you say?
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much to watch in that movie.
Yeah. I've only seen it once, and it's the only film I paid to see at the cinema this year because I have a membership to just watch whatever I want. But I was away from my local cinema for a time, so I paid to see Spider-Verse. I'm not missing this, and that's the one I was happiest to have paid to see. Well, technically I paid to see Wonka because my wife came with me, which doesn't normally do. But yeah, so that's the two films I paid for this year: Wonka and Spider-Verse, and they're my two favorite films of the year.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, I just spilled a drink. I've been mopping up.
Like, Jay, you're being very jittery over there, man. What's going on?
I just disturbed my Lego head mug and spilled some rum.
So I want to hand out a couple more awards. I love that Jason Statham fights near a jet ski in Operation Fortune. Okay. That makes me really happy.
Should I finish that film? I started it. My wife didn't want to watch the rest of it. Should I finish Operation Fortune? It works.
Yeah, it's cute, man. It's just I don't think it ever gets. I don't know. For some reason, it just worked for me. Like just in the wine bit when he tasted the wine, he's like, "Woo!"
Okay, I will finish watching that film.
Let's see. The Conference has some good boat work. That's a very funny Swedish horror film. Influencer has some good boat work in it.
It's on the list. We'll get to it.
Yeah, Influencer's not bad. There's some really good. And he's
like one of the best rated films of the year on Rotten Tomatoes. This Influencer, which I was like, okay, fair enough. We'll circle back.
I'm not trying to hate on it, but I could see it having 300 Bs. Does that mean
sure?
I wouldn't say it's the A+ movie, but it's good. I think. Let's see. Oh, the best fake out swimming pool is in Royal Hotel. Annie's Men is the best island work. Let's see. I don't think there's much water in Talk to Me. Thanks. Let's see. The Nun. I'm sure there's some holy water in Nun too.
There was holy water in Pope's Exorcist as well, I think.
Yeah, it's so good. Is there water work in Megan? I don't know. And Cocaine Bear has a waterfall.
So. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I wanted that film to be so much better than it was.
Yeah, that was not good. Not a good movie at all. There's a scene where the camera just goes upside down to film something. I'm like, I guarantee on set they're like, that would look cool if we just did that. That's what that kind of movie is. Where it's just
I mean, I kind of want more of that kind of stuff. I think Cocaine Bear should be balls to the wall, everything. Just throw whatever you have at the camera and see what sticks. And they just told quite a boring story.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Okay, the best picture of a jet ski is in Scrapper, Jay, which I love.
Sure.
Right. Knock at the Cabin has some good rain.
Yep.
Holdovers has some good whiskey drinking. The best whiskey drinking goes to The Killer in Brooklyn 45.
Oh, yeah.
Really great work. Rye Lane has a good boat scene.
It does. Yep. Excellent.
Sharksploitation. That's probably the best documentary. Oppenheimer doesn't have too much water.
If we're going for deep sea comparisons, it has a big explosion.
That's true.
That's about it.
Fallen Leaves is about a guy getting dry from his alcoholism, so that works. Let's see. I think All of Us Strangers has a great restaurant. Diners. No, those are milkshakes. So you can't really count that. Oh, Monster has a great rainstorm.
Okay, you mentioned Nyad, me in part.
Oh, yeah.
It looks too heavy to watch the whole thing. I watched the trailer. I'm good.
So it's a crazy movie. Annette Bening and Jodie Foster are incredible in it. And knowing what she did in 2013, she swam from Cuba to Florida without a shark cage, but she had someone with a kayak next door with an electronic shark repellent. It's just a really good performance. And they're both so sun-drenched and they just both look so authentic. I mean, why expect anything less from two amazing actors?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of swimming pool work. There's a lot of swimming work. There's multiple tries, a lot of ocean work. But I think the best part about that movie is just how best sunburns.
Okay. Yeah.
Naturalistic sun was what I'll give the award to the. Oh, The Hunger Games has some good poison water. The new Hunger Games movie.
Okay.
That movie's a lot better than I expected, Jay.
We missed it. My wife wants to see it, and I don't mind, but she couldn't make it that weekend. So we figured I'll wait and watch it at home with her.
It really it does a lot more than it should, which makes me happy. But I've just named a lot of movies, but I think we did it, Jay. This is a good year for us.
I'll just do a couple of passing mentions, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, Should have been better. It has a fun underwater break-in sequence with some robot ducks and robot moles. Leo, I loved Leo.
Oh, Leo's adorable.
It's got a bunch of prison escapes. It's an animal prison escape film, basically. That's the similarity. And I didn't see Thanksgiving, but I know from the trailer, and so I looked at the scene online. Someone gets cooked in an oven.
They do.
It's very deep sea.
Very deep.
But they actually get cooked in the oven, and it looks like a horrific way to go. I have new appreciation for that scene in Deep Sea as to someone being cooked in an oven. It's like, no, this would actually be terrible.
Oh man, yeah, that's a fun movie. I really like Thanksgiving. Also, I like Cena and Dua Lipa as mermaids.
Yeah, sure. And there's a boat scene kind of in Barbie as well. They're traveling by boat at one point. I've recently started working. There's loads of vehicles in there. It's like space and all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of my list as well. But one film we talked about earlier in 2023 was Shotgun Wedding. When we talked about that, I was not able to do a Deep Blue analysis. But I have since done that. So Shotgun Wedding is now added to the Deep Blue rankings. I won't make you guess. It's not very deep. It's not very blue. It works out on average 3.16 meters or 10.35 feet up in the air, just because there's lots of scenes on cliffs and in a helicopter, which Lenny Kravitz does not survive. And
brutal.
There's a bunch of scenes just at sea level, I guess, where they're all stood in the pool. So not very deep. And blueness 16.9 percent blue. So not the bluest, not the deepest. Depth wise, it is a little higher than Muppet Treasure Island, a little lower than Driven. And blueness, it is bluer than Godzilla vs. Biollante, less blue than Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. So I still have Meg to the Trench to do at some point. That's not streaming here yet. But once it does, I will do that, and it will be a little bonus at the end of some episode in the future. You'll find out how deep and how blue Meg to the Trench is.
So what do we have going for 2024, Jay?
Well, there's a few of the 2023 releases we didn't get to yet, but we will. You mentioned Sharksploitation. I still haven't seen that. I can't understand how I host a shark movie podcast and didn't see Sharksploitation, but there we are. The Dive and Deep Fear are two on our radar that we're going to cover soon. Deep Fears, and Andy Boetes is going to come back and talk Deep Fear with us. She actually is the one who pointed that film out to us. So that should be soon. But as for like 2024 releases coming out this year, it's the year of Rennie Harlan. It's got 4 films coming out in 2024. Whether all 4 come out, whether all 4 come out, I hope so. I don't know, but we've got The Bricklayer and then 3 Strangers films, all set for a release in the next 12 months. So before we get to any of those Strangers films, we will do whether a full or a mini episode on The Strangers and The Strangers Pray at Night, neither of which I've seen, but I hear that Pray at Night at least has a fun swimming pool scene in it. So those are 2020. I haven't looked to see what shark films come out next year. But I'm guessing there'll be a smattering. But in terms of non-shark films, we'll be celebrating the 25th anniversary of Deep Blue Sea in 2024 with some fun Deep Blue Sea centric episodes, as you might expect us to do. We're going to hopefully finish out the Rennie's career we haven't done yet. So that's Cleaner, 5 Days of War, The Outlaw of Paths, and Legend of the Ancient Sword. There's also that school reunion film, but I can't find that anywhere. So we might get to that, we might not. I don't know. We'll definitely do those other 4. And then Waterworld's coming up, House Shark, Deep Star 6, Mutiny on the Bounty, the Oscar-winning one. These are all films like Atank, is it Aatank? I can't remember the Indian film. Will Slater's going to come and talk about that. So yeah, we've got a lot of fun shark and non-shark films coming up soon in the new year. And actually, our next week's episode is technically the New Year episode, I guess, because it's Poseidon, in which they actually celebrate a new year. So you're back next week for Poseidon.
Oh man, I forgot about that episode that we recorded.
Yeah, we tend to we don't dwell on the negative episodes.
Yeah,
we remember the positive ones. So.
And I just want to say to everyone listening, thank you very much, Jay. Yes. Just on Apple Podcasts alone, we've gained 170 followers just this year. Yeah. So just this year, we've gained 170 new followers on just Apple Podcasts. So there's millions of podcasts out there, so we appreciate y'all listening, and the continued growth is awesome, Jay. Like we're not losing listeners, we're gaining listeners.
I love it.
And it just keeps going up, man. And I'm really excited that people listen to this thing, that our not little, I hate when people say little, our fun hobby, and like people dig it, and you're tuning in. And I mean, we don't do this for the followers. I just learned how to, actually look at stats like from other places, but no, it's cool, man. And I'm honored that y'all listen to us. And Jay, thanks for joining me, man. This is great.
I'm happy. I love doing this. I think I messaged you saying, because I'd seen other people posting their podcast stats, and I messaged you saying, "Hey, what are ours for Deep Blue Sea?" And your response was, "I've never looked," because we that's not why we do this.
Yeah.
So, but we're grateful to everyone that listens. If you, as always, if you're out there and you think, "Hey, I want them to cover this film," then let us know. You can email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com, or get in touch on any social media at deepblueseapod is where you can find us. Well, I'm at JAYCLUITT on Instagram, or at LifeVSFilm on Twitter, X, whichever one you want to call it. And as this is the end of the year, start of the year, whatever, then head over to my personal site, lifeversusfilm.com, and you'll see, hopefully, my end of year, start of year posts that I do. Not much happens in between, but this is the time when stuff gets put on my site. But Mark, you got any plugs?
Let's see, plugs. Yeah, I got some cool articles coming out for Film Theory, Movies, Films, and Flicks podcast. Oh, we got the random awards coming out, so Megan and I do our random awards. Hopefully you can send us some over. We have that. I just released my horror awards, was the Nandi. And then, yeah, so I'm just check out our stuff. And also, no, the main thing, Jay, is if you listen to our show, shoot us a message and ask us a listener question, or engage with us. Like, we'd love to hear from you. So if there's some episodes you love, if there's some moments you love, just let us know. Reach out. It'd be great to hear from you.
Please do. So yes, that'll do it for our 2023 Deep Blue Scenes recap. Next week, as I said, is Poseidon. But as for today, I've been Jake Lewitt.
And I'm Mark Hoffmeyer.
And we'll Deep Blue see you next week.
Beach off.